The Hammer of Atmora is a heavy RP guild based out of Fallowstone Hall in the Rift. They are one of many companion crews of Skyrim during the time period, though one of the few to accept all brave warriors, no matter their race. The Harbingers and Captain's Guide, but no companion rules over any other. Equals in danger, equals in blood, equals in plunder. Welcome to Scrollplay. I'm Floyd, and I'm a human just like you. After the news, which is all roleplay related because this is the Elder Scrolls Online roleplay show, we have an interview with Skatmat'Qa, one of the longtime members of the EU Megaserver, Aldmeri Dominion. If you saw the last episode, you'll remember that Thrawn read the news off, which is something that I would like to do in the future more often if possible. So if you're interested in reading the news for a future episode of Scrollplay, just send me a message here or on Engine or at thehumanfloyd@gmail.com. But for today, I will be reading it off, so let's get to it. As news of Orsinium's reconstruction spreads across Tamriel, a group of soldiers and civilians alike have traveled north to lend their aid. Mercenaries, mages, merchants, and diplomats all braved the wilderness of Hrothgar to bring friendly faces and Dominion tidings to the orcs of Hrothgar. Dominion officials urge those brave enough to face the rocky wilderness of Hrothgar to do so and bring glory to our alliance. Kinlord Valorantir Lorathor held a ball and tournament on the 1st of this month to commemorate his new title. Guests were treated to a grand ball and combat tournament at the Lorathor Manor in Velen Harbor, with rewards of gold for the winners. Dock workers in First Hold have reported an unidentified illness within their ranks. Mysterious ships have been sighted off the coast and in the waves. Dominion officials have stated that investigations are underway and that the good citizens of First Hold should take care around the harbor and report anything suspicious. A private war between two guilds has been raging in the Daggerfall Covenant. The Stormwolves raided a Mooncloak village and kidnapped the daughter and wife of their enemy's leader. The location where the daughter was being kept was discovered, and two agents of the Mooncloaks were able to rescue her. A Stormwolf trader went to Moranus, the leader of the Mooncloaks, and gave him information on another Stormwolf raid that was going to happen, a small group the trader would be with. Moranus staged an ambush and captured 4 Stormwolves. He killed the trader and still holds 3 captives: Catrice the boatswain, Valyria the master gunner, and Zephrina, a crewmate. There is to be a negotiation to swap prisoners. Captain Girodaro cares greatly for her pack/crew and will do what she can to save them. However, she is hoping to get something out of the deal. Meanwhile, other groups, comprised of other werewolf packs and families of vampires, who Captain Girodaro doesn't like but is willing to work with in these circumstances, have approached the Stormwolves offering their aid. Considering the Mooncloaks have allies in the other guilds of the Covenant Council, Captain Girodaro is not foolish enough to turn down aid. However, the Stormwolves are getting annoyed that they seem to be the ones doing the fighting while their so-called allies have been busy making promises. There has been an air of quiet over Shadeville Manor, as House Gawadu licks their wounds after the grisly death of their Baron. Baroness Melise remains hidden while the necromancer Octavia is still at large, being tracked by Lord Gaius and his adoptive daughter, the healer, Isaude. Chancellor Kayla Glendunin, you people and your names, half-sister of Mornagawa Dunin and childhood friend of the Baroness, runs the day-to-day business of the restored barony with something of an iron fist, developing a reputation for a harsh temper. Life goes on, however, and the house has managed to reopen a silver mine that was shut down after an attack by giant spiders. This has caused an upturn in the financial situation of the houses, and Lady Morna has employed a scribe and poet, Alexander Valcourt, or Valcourt, maybe, to copy a rare tome on a Debellan ritual after he performed a particularly moving elegy for the deceased Baron Robert. The poet has since moved on after completing his commission, and handbills have begun to appear in North Point, advertising for scribes who can do comparable work. The Mages Guild chapter in Orsinium has finally opened, and they're looking for mages to help supply books for the new hall. The guildmasters of the High Rock Mages Guilds seek to assign more apprentices to experienced mages in the guild, hoping to develop the professional relationships between members while providing valuable educational experience to noobs. Mages around the Shornhelm Guild Hall were rumored to have been discussing a potential discovery by the peculiar apprentice named Anna, using the word octal cage in their scholarly discussions. However, the Mages Guild itself is not disclosing much information to the public due to potential risks in security. Although, interestingly enough, Wizard Solinar has announced that he will be holding more guild expeditions into unexplored Ayleid ruins within the Daggerfall Covenant since then. The Fighters Guild has seen a period of internal controversy following the recent campaigns against High Rock Goblin camps, dividing its members. Some of the older fighters have enjoyed the old-fashioned monster slaying, while many of the apprentices and new recruits have petitioned to return to strictly Daedra and Necromancer hunting contracts. With all this commotion, the Provost has only recently been able to begin preparations for their expansion into the newly built city of Orsinium. While materials are being gathered for the new Rothgarian Guild Hall, the council scrambles to find an Orzamer representative capable of managing and overseeing it. The guild is also in search of a talented marksman to serve as the official archery instructor for new apprentices, as well as a master smith so the guild can supply its own arms and armor. The rebuilding process is certainly slow, but the Fighters Guild is determined to re-establish their presence in Covenant lands. In EP news, on the evening of Fredos 20th of Sun's Dusk, the hardy folk of Skyrim will gather in Windhelm for the annual Warriors Festival. Contests of archery, fisticuffs, smithing, and more will all give way to celebrations with music, food, and, of course, mead. All of Tamriel is invited to join in the celebration. And we received no news from the EU Megaserver this time, probably because they're all playing Fallout 4. In all honesty, I was actually pretty surprised that we got any news at all. We're going to interview Skatmat about the EU AD, where she's been playing for a long time. It's notoriously referred to as the least played faction, so I would like to examine why people think that and what's going on beneath the surface. Welcome to the show, Skatmat.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into it. How about you tell me a little bit about how you first started role-playing?
It's a simple but funny story. I randomly saw Carjo, who was the roleplay master of the time of the guild called Vakashtar. I randomly saw him type in the zone chat that they were recruiting for a Khajiit guild. At this time, I didn't know anything about roleplay. I was just like, yay, Khajiits! cat people. So I whispered, hey, I want to join. And apparently they did a recruiting through Roleplay.
Oh, that's intimidating.
Which I barely knew what was. So we met up, and I was playing with my boyfriend at the moment. So we had to just roleplay something completely random. Of course, roleplaying drunk.
Nice.
Because that's what I always do when I don't know what to do. I roleplay drunk.
That's a great idea. So you were just a player, and then they needed somebody to help run things?
Yeah, there were 2 roleplay officers before me. One had to go away because real life stuff, and the other one went away because he got tired of the game. I'm tired of us.
Tired of all these drunk Khajiit.
Yeah. We were so noobs at roleplay at that time, but we're better now.
So you are in
Bakashtar.
Bakashtar, which is a Khajiiti guild?
Yeah, it's the one and only Khajiit exclusive guild.
Nice, nice. Is it a caravan or like a clan?
It's essentially a caravan, but we're not exclusively a caravan. And we're not exclusively a roleplay guild. We do everything. We do roleplay, of course. Most of that, of course, because I'm the most active officer. But we also do lots of PvP.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like it's good to get the full experience, you know?
Yeah.
I know you haven't been there from the very beginning, but tell us a little bit about the history of Vakashtar.
We have a few of the original members still left, so I asked them a little bit. And, well, Bakashtar is, I would say, one of the oldest ESO guilds. It existed even before the beta.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And all the recruiting went through the Bethesda forums, as ESO forums wasn't even made yet.
Nice.
All the long days before the game even launched, they mostly hung out on raid call playing EverQuest, role-playing with their voices.
Oh, voice roleplay. I just did voice roleplay for the first time the other day, and it is actually really fun.
There's certainly this thing about the original members and the difference between the newer members, because all the original members, they do talk like Khajiits all the time. When we're in TeamSpeak and when we're writing on forums, they say this one instead of me.
Oh, wow.
Like casually, like they've done it for forever. Specifically, one of our members, Cardio, who was a roleplay officer, he sounds extremely like a natural Khajiit. Like you would think that he's using some voiceover, but he doesn't.
Oh, cool. I guess he's had a lot of practice.
Yeah. During the beta time, when everyone got their beta keys, except for the guildmaster.
No!
Yeah, I was like, okay. Guildmaster is Kadar, which is a full Khajiit name, Ka meaning unknown, Dar meaning thief. So his name means unknown thief.
Nice.
The very best Khajiit name ever.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Because of Kadar had done so much recruiting and like commercial for Vakashtar, we had very many members. But when the launch was going to happen, like only half of them showed up.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thing happen to my guild because I was recruiting before the game came out, and I had like 10 people that just never even played.
Yeah. We ruled in PvP, and Castle Bloodmane was ours for a very, very long time, and it's now a sort of tradition of ours. Every time we go into Cyrodiil, we take Castle Bloodmane. That's
Nice.
as ours, as Vakashtar's keep, mind you.
I will stay away from it. You've been around on the EU AD community pretty much the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the community has evolved and changed, and just from your perspective?
I didn't roleplay from the start, but in the beginning of my roleplay, there was a fairly active AD community. I joined slowly, but as time went by, when we in Vakastar and the other guys who were also noobs at roleplay, when we became more experienced and we even knew what roleplay was, it was like the community slowly dissolved.
Right at the time that you guys were figuring out roleplay?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So there has been many OOC community guilds, such as Ebonheart Roleplay or Stormham Roleplay. There has been many Aldmeri Dominion Roleplay guilds, but they have all been abandoned, renewed, abandoned, renewed.
Yeah, it seems like EUAD has had a little bit of trouble with kind of keeping that consistent because I know you guys had like a full website for like
Yeah.
2 weeks and then it just vanished.
Yeah. I hope now, though, that this is the last time it's been renewed.
Yeah.
Gucci is handling that site now.
People always suggest that EUAD is the least active faction. Why do you think it's had so much trouble, keeping an active OOC guild and keeping an active roleplay community?
We are definitely a minority, but that doesn't mean that there isn't any roleplay. Our roleplay is much stronger now, but yeah, I think from the beginning, most people just joined the pact because Skyrim, whoa, Nords, speed, wood, and many went to Stormhaven because, well, I don't know, Bretons.
Yeah.
So from
Those
the
human
beginning, AD has
races.
been small. It's a lot like all of the small guilds we roleplay with ourselves.
Okay, so yeah, I was wondering because for a time there, people used to say that NA Ebonheart Pact, which is where I play, was not very active because we didn't have many events posted up. But the truth was that it was very active, and it's just that people weren't posting all of their events publicly on forums and stuff like that at the time.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like private roleplay or guild roleplay that goes on in your faction, though.
Yeah, that's definitely true of EUAD as well. Vakastar is the one and only guild that has never stopped roleplaying. We have always roleplayed from the launch till now. We have never stopped.
Nice, that's awesome.
Mm.
But recently, it seems like there have been a lot more events being posted, and we're getting a lot more news from our correspondent for Scrollplay and stuff. So, why do you think that there's sort of this resurgence of activity in your faction all of a sudden?
The activity, I would say, is quite the same. It's just we've been starting to use TSO roleplay to advertise events.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah, like before, we would just use the chats to talk through guilds and like, hey, we're doing this event, join us. Trying to use our roleplay, see if there's new people gonna be interested, and that obviously worked because now the pack role players, the Pucci and the gang came over.
Yeah, the Golden Flame and the Heralds of Aegea both created guilds on AD, right?
Yeah, this is like the biggest boon we've got because now we have new people to roleplay with. That's just like, yeah,
Totally.
yeah. They obviously come from very different communities, so we had to become much more organized.
Sure, I mean, more people means more organization.
Yeah.
That being said, do you think that there's a website in the future for EUAD?
We've been talking about that. Maybe it's gonna happen after this.
Yeah, hopefully. I was really excited to talk to you because I've heard from so many people like, "Oh, there's no roleplay on EUAD," and I was like, "There's no way that's true."
Yeah, indeed. There definitely is. You just have to dig a little deeper. You just have to know the people who to whisper, and then yay.
Yeah, that said, who should we direct people to that want to get involved in your community?
First of all, there's the officers in the Aldmeri Dominion OOC guild, and that's Pucci 41. That's a guild master. And Officer Kajit 2992. Khan 12, who also has the Heroes of Aegea. So if you're interested in scholar-ish roleplay, contact Khan 12. Then there is Kirky_lad. He is one of the role players that does mostly criminal or orc roleplay for the moment because Hrothgar.
Because orcs.
Yeah. And then there's, of course, Vakashtar. There's me, and then there's my right hand, Bongo 3112. He's very, very active.
Nice. And I'll have a link in the description to the thread where a lot of those handles are listed so people can get a hold of you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I should mention that we operate in a very different way than most roleplay communities because, well, we're smaller, and so you cannot just go to a hub and just expect someone to be there.
Right.
You have to actually contact us, and you see, we use this system now that we always announce in the chats when we are role-playing, like we're role-playing now.
That's what's so nice about those OOC hub guilds, you know, you get everybody from every guild into it, and then you can know what's going on. What are some of the common themes that you see in your roleplay? Obviously, there's scholarly stuff and apparently some thieving stuff, which I didn't even know about. What are some of the other things that you guys see?
For a long time, it has been very, very dominated by criminal roleplay. Thieves, outlaws, assassins. It's just very, very recently that we got the scholars and the data hunters. But yeah, it's mostly thieves. Like, I have never seen a holy priest or a good sir knight, for example.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Well, I would suggest to somebody that is looking for a character idea to go to you
Yeah.
guys as like a goodly knight or a priest or something because I mean it's always good to have that diversity.
Yeah. Since we're so much dominated by criminal roleplay, it would be really good if we could get good characters.
Even like a lawful guild, like a Thalmor guild or something would be cool.
Yeah, that is not corrupted.
Yeah, a
Because we have a few Thalmor role players, but they kind of look the other way when they notice our skooma dealing.
Nice. So you guys would like some in-character conflict with some law men then, right?
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Because we've been having monopoly on the criminal roleplay, so we have just been role-playing crimes out in the open, not worrying about anything. But now, of course, the data hunters was a big change to that because they're more good, so we have to hide more. But it would be great if there could be more, like a city guard, for example.
That would be cool.
Mm.
I love how each faction has sort of its own history, you know, and its own like player created lore. And it's almost like you could say that the story right now is that crime is just running rampant and, you know, there's no law and stuff like that. You could almost even make like a roleplay event out of some people trying to decide what to do to stop all this crime.
Yeah. Also, of course, just normal citizens that aren't really self-sufficient, like characters that would need help with things. Because since we've been alone for a long time, our characters have had to learn how to deal with things themselves.
Plus, you need some civilians to rob.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, I have one last question for you, and it's a fun one. If you were given the power of Alkosh and you could change one thing about ESO, what would it be?
Open PvP absolutely everywhere.
Oh, you're one of those. You want to fight all the time.
Yeah.
I would like that too, personally. That would be fun.
You could, of course, have a flag that you can flag yourself for PvP and you can flag yourself for non-PvP. But that would, of course, have to have a cooldown. You can't jump in and out of PvP all the time.
That's kind of the way that World of Warcraft has it set up, where if you're in your own territory, you can unflag yourself, but if you're in enemy territory, you're like permanently flagged.
Yeah.
That would be so cool, because then cross-faction roleplay could happen too, because you could just like turn off, you could just go to another faction and not kill people.
And it should not be faced based on the faction.
That would be so cool. That would solve like 2 problems in one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Skatmat'.
Yeah. Thanks. It was an honor.
A wonderful interview. Thank you again, Skatmat', for coming on. And that's it for this episode. We only have one more this season. Please support me on patreon.com/thehumanfloyd. You'll get cool stuff in return, and I'll be able to keep making roleplay videos. Thank you so much for watching. Keep roleplaying. Peace.
Yeah, all the hag ravens around here are white.
Do you have a problem with white people?
Yeah, is there
problem
something
with
telling us?
white
You can't
hag
just
ravens?
go around asking people why they're white, Floyd.
Gosh!